Jesus knows that one of his disciples has gone off to betray him. He knows he's about to be arrested and suffer terribly. So what does he do?
Hi, kiddo. I'm Grandma Goodie, and I'm here to tell you a Bible story. You'll notice that Grandma Goodie is wearing dark colors because the stories I'm about to tell you are the dark days of the Easter week. Jesus and his disciples, they had just had the Last Supper. Jesus headed up to the Mount of Olives, and there was a garden there that had trees in it, and that was olive trees, and they would often go there at night, and they would pray there. So they were heading to their usual spot. So I want you to picture a dark night, and they're walking up this winding road to this hill where there's a grove of olive trees, and they go into this little garden. Jesus says, "Come with me and pray, please." Jesus needed his friends. Yes, he was the Son of God, but he was a human. He was in a human body, and he knew what was going to happen to him. So he needed to pray and get the strength to face what he was choosing to do for us. So Jesus' friends and disciples, they sat down, and Jesus told them, "You stay here and pray so that you don't fall into temptation. I'm going to go a little further on, and I'm going to pray by myself." And it says he went about a stone's throw, so about as far as you could throw a stone. He went that far, and he started praying to his Father in heaven. And he knew how he was going to suffer. And he prayed, and he said, "Oh, Father in heaven, if there is any other way, please, please. But if there's no other way, then let your will be done, not my will." Because you see, as a human being, everybody, when they face suffering and shame and death, that's about as scary or as troublesome as it gets. And Jesus was suffering there in that garden, praying, and he prayed again, "Oh, Father, if there's any other way, take this cup of suffering away from me. Oh, Father, not my will, but your will be done." And the Father in heaven sent an angel, and an angel appeared to Jesus and somehow gave him strength to go on. And in another place, Jesus tells him, "Don't you know, I could just ask my Father right now, and he'd send a whole army full of angels to fight against anybody." And he knew he could have that. And he said, "Father, not my will, but your will be done." So Jesus got up and he walked back. They were all sound asleep. They left him alone. But he woke him up and he said, "Why are you sleeping? You need to be praying." But they were so sad, and they had so much grief that they just couldn't stay awake. They just had to escape through sleep. And just then, Jesus looked down the road. And while they were still talking, coming up the road with torches, there was a big crowd. And as they got closer, who was leading them? Judas Iscariot, the one disciple Jesus said was going to betray him. And Jesus is standing there in the dark, and here comes Judas, walks right up to him, and he goes to kiss him, because Judas had told the chief priests and the people who wanted to arrest Jesus, "The one that I kiss, that's Jesus. That's who you are to arrest." And Jesus looked at him, and he loved him. And he said, "Judas, do you betray the Son of Man with a kiss? Like, really?" Now, Jesus' followers saw what was about to happen. And they said, "Hey, Jesus, we have swords. Should we fight? We'll fight to protect you, Jesus." And one of them, he pulled out his sword, and it says he sliced and he chopped off the right ear of the servant of the high priest. Now, my guess is he was not aiming for the ear. He's probably aiming for the head, and the young man ducked. But he sliced off his ear. And Jesus says, stop, stop. And then Jesus did the most beautiful thing. I love this part of the story. That man is standing there holding his head where his ear used to be, and it's bleeding. And Jesus reached out and he touched right there where his ear used to be, and he healed him, and he made his ear as good as new. He loved his enemies while they were arresting him. That's pretty cool if you ask me. And then Jesus spoke to the religious leaders who were behind this plot, and he said to them, am I a leader of an armed band of men? Do I go around with clubs and swords and weapons that you have to come and arrest me like this in the dead of night? Every day I was right with you in the bright sunlight in the temple teaching the people. You could have arrested me at any time. But you know what? This is probably more fitting because this is your hour when darkness reigns. Well, I want to show you where to find this one in the Holy Bible. It's in the New Testament, and the book is the book of Luke, and it's chapter 22, and the verses are verses 39 to 54. And if you're using the secret code, it's LUK 22 and the 2 dots, and then 39 to 54. So you remember, kiddo, Grandma Goodie loves you, but God loves you more.